Yeah, hey now, good morning. And hey now, PASW staff, clients, and friends joining us for a lovely Thursday. We're pretty much through the week. Tomorrow we're going to see the film scoring results for the Ten Commandments. Moses parting the Red Sea. So that's something cool. Yesterday we looked at Charlie Mingus, the great bass composer, who I love. Today I've been wanting to get to this guy for a long time. This is the guy that really deserves some recognition, and a guy that you've heard his music before. Everybody has. Everyone's grown up with his music, but I don't know how many people know his name. So today we're gonna really get to know his name. We're gonna be looking at the really hilarious genius of Carl Stalling. So not Stalin. Don't worry, I'm not doing it Stalin class. That'll be later. No, Carl Stalling, kind of like the car is stalling. Yes, he's the American composer and arranger for all the animated films that we all grew up loving. Looney Tunes, Merry Melodies, all from mostly from the Warner Brothers lot. So I mean, we got to get over there. Let's leave Watts, which is probably safest just this time of night or day. Let's go over to Burbank and let's go to the Warner Brothers, where he averaged one score every week for 22 years. So that's one full score every single week. That's a lot for 22 years. So basically until he died. He died at 81, so he lived a long life. But that's a lot of work, and I read that sometimes a score could be about 500 bars just for 10 seconds of music in the animation. So let's talk about his life and his music, and we'll just have a goofy, fun time. He starts playing piano at age 6, but by 12 he's the main pianist in his hometown silent movie theater. So and he was also the theater organist. So this is where he learned how to improvise and how to have and create spontaneous music for the images on the screen. Because if you think of it, he's playing organ, he's watching, there's an audience, the movie's there. You have to change very quickly the mood of what's going to happen next. You have to be happy, sad. I mean, it's almost like film composing on the spot. And this is how he's learning his craft, how to improvise and to be spontaneous for what's going on in the action of a screen. So by the early 20s, he's conducting his own orchestra while he's improvising at the organ. At the Isis Movie Theater in Kansas City. Not a good name for a movie theater, but maybe back then it was, they didn't know. But and that was his job. It was to play the organ accompaniment to silent films. And a little guy named Walt Disney's passing through Kansas City, and they meet and they become friends. And he asks him to produce some little shorts for him, and they kind of hit off and start realizing that they're kind of interested in each other's ideas. And then finally Disney offers him to be the studio's first music director. So he does that for a few years, and in this process he's basically inventing and creating the film score for animation, for animators. He's creating a whole new genre. I mean, just like Disney was creating a genre of animation and cartoons, Stalling is creating a whole genre of music for animation. Never been done before. So he does the famous 1929 Skeleton Dance. He scores this for Disney. He comes up with a film technique that people still use called Mickey Mousing. And it's synchronizing and mirroring. It syncs the music to the image for the most part. So when you hear like a boom, you're gonna hear a percussive instrument going boom just on the screen. So we call that, not we. I mean, actually, I've done it, but I didn't know it was called Mickey Mousing. But it's pretty much matching the movement to the music. I like the term though, but at Disney he creates something with a metronome. We know the metronome keeps the time, right? But he's one of the first one of the first inventors, along with Max Steiner and some other people separately, to use the tick system, which is like a click track. So he would have the musicians actually listening to a metronome in their ears. So he would know exactly where to punch holes in the music, and where and how have those holes somehow line up with animation. I don't know how animation works. I know you thought I was an expert, but somehow he would make these clicks and pops in the animation and in the score, so they would line up perfectly. So he's one of the early inventors of the tick system, which we still use today all the time. I mean, everybody has a click track. Every soundtrack you hear, every John Williams score, everything that's recorded in a studio, even bands, even rock drummers, they'll use a click track. So he's one of the first to invent this with moving pictures animation using a tick system. But by 1936, he leaves Disney and he goes over to Warner Brothers, and he's there until he retires, until he dies in 1972, and he becomes a full-time cartoon music composer. And from 1936 onwards, he composed almost every theatrical animated short that Freudian slip, that Warner Brothers did. Warner Brothers had a whole library of music, and so what he would do was he would borrow music. He would use quotations in the music. That's why, like, when you hear, the famous Rabbit of Seville score, that's Rossini. He didn't write that, but he's taking Rossini's score and embellishing it. He's using quotations. He's making his own arrangement of it. But a lot of what Stalin's doing is using quotations. Not to say that it was easier, but it was like, I think that's why the music is so fun and good. He realized all the humor in Rossini, all the humor in other composers, and all having access to the whole Warner Brothers music library, he could pick and choose. Okay, I'm going to use this one, this one, this one, this one. I'm going to use maybe 20 just in, I don't know, a minute, of this, goofy Bugs Bunny segment. So he's credited with over 600 animated films. It's just, and the music is so funny. Apparently he didn't look like he had a sense of humor, but he had a great sense of humor with how to these tightly coordinated musical cues, how they'd be punctuated with instruments and also sound effects too. Now we have music scores for, where it's the recording session and it's just the music for the emotion of it. And then there's a whole sound effect department and Foley and all that now. Back then he's kind of doing what Esquivel was doing too, using sound effects as part of the music, we looked at the Mexican composer Esquivel, and it was all about this whole environment of music coming out of the music studio. If there's a whip that needs to be used, we're going to use a whip. If there's harps, we're going to use that. It was just whatever made it come alive on screen, which was such quality, because even now we still look at some of these cartoons and we show the kids and it's so much fun.
What kept you, son? I can't hold my breath forever. I'm not a fish. I gotta breathe air. My lungs crave air. You gotta think of things like that, boy. Little consideration for me. You're down again. I don't want to be hoggish about this, so I'll tell you what. Let's divide the worm. Yeah, we'll draw a line and bisect them. Now, all on that side of the line is yours. I'll take all on this side. Well, barbecue my ham hocks. Your half is gone. Now, don't give me no lip, son. You gotta stick by your bargain. I'd do the same. Well, hog gravy and chitlins. My half is gone. I know what you're gonna say, son. When two halves is gone, there's nothing left. And you're right. It's a little old worm who wasn't there. Two nothings is nothing. That's mathematics, son. You can argue with me, but you can't argue with figures. Two half nothings is a whole nothing. And I know what I'm talking about because... Okay, I'll shut up. I'm not one that has to keep talking. Some fellas just have to keep their mouths flapping, but not me. I was brought up right. My pa used to tell me shut up, and I'd shut up. I wouldn't say nothing. One time darn near starved to death. Wouldn't tell him I was hungry.
So part of what he was so good at was changing musical styles so quickly. I mean, that takes a real talent for a composer to be like, you know, I can write in all kinds of different styles of music within 10 seconds. And I can change the mood. I mean, that's really, either that's ADD or whatever. I mean, maybe the cartoons are kind of ADD-ish in a delightful, funny way, but he could write in so many different styles within, 10 seconds or something like that. But they were very complicated arrangements. They sound so funny, and all that kind of percussive stuff sounds so funny. But I mean, when you think about it on page, it's so hard to write this kind of stuff that gets a big laugh. It takes tremendous time to sit down and write by hand all of these things just for a 5-second laugh. Of course, this is his job. I'm just trying to break it down because, I mean, it's just an amazing gift that he had to use music. I mean, they complemented each other so well. I don't think these cartoons would live on at all had it not been for Carl Stalling.
Hey, what's up, Doc? We really mean it. What's up, Doc?
So, master orchestrator, master arranger. He just, yeah, I think he elevated it. I mean, all this music is so much fun, and I just thought he deserved recognition. Carl Stalling. Great composer, hilarious, has given us so many great memories and all that stuff. So hope you enjoyed Carl Stalling. Tomorrow's film scoring results for the 10 Commandments. Can't wait to show you that, and have a great rest of the day, and thanks for tuning in. Okay, bye.